All right. Welcome to Not Suitable for Adults, the podcast with really good audio every week.
Sorry, guys.
Man.
And you know what? We really liked last week's episode.
It was so good.
If you guys can muscle through it, I know it is hard to listen to.
That's
that
our next
audio.
podcast. Hard to listen to.
Hard to listen. But I really enjoyed talking about Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, I did too.
But anyway, sorry guys, that stunk because that was one of our fun. I liked that episode a lot.
One of our regular listeners / family members suggested we transcribe it and then read it like a script. And we said, that sounds like a lot of work.
We said, just, try to listen to it if you can.
So,
but also completely understood if you didn't listen to it because it was rough.
Sense.
Sorry, guys.
Maybe one day the technology will be invented that will fix that kind of distortion.
I don't think we even really know what happened, but just equipment malfunction.
Yeah, something with the mixer, the cords, or the cables, or, the CIA hacked us.
Happy Easters.
Happy Easters. We say it that way because of Nacho Libre.
Yes.
We always say
Easters.
Happy Easters.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to do this thing we do. I'm Rich.
I'm Natalie.
And the thing that we do is talk about kid shows and movies. We started making this podcast because of shows our kids watch. Our kid watches.
Watch it.
Sorry. And I'm going to talk about a show that our kid watches.
Okay, let's do
that?
it.
This is one of those that's just on YouTube. It's it's out there on the tube.
It's there.
And I think almost everyone with a kid under the age of 5 has probably experienced it at one point or the other.
If you do YouTube.
If you're a YouTube person who lets their kid watch YouTube or YouTube Kids.
Yeah.
It's called BabyBus.
Mm-hmm.
And this show, or this, not really show, but this channel, I guess, is, it's one of those that it's hard to tell if it's cute or obnoxious.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot that's like sort of hard to part. So, okay, I'm just going to talk about the channel first, and then I'm going to talk about the specific thing that made me go, you know what, let's talk about BabyBus this week. So I tried to find, just like I did with the Fixies.
Right.
I tried to find some information on them and couldn't at first, and it's because it's a Chinese channel.
Right. I mean, you can tell that when they're talking that it's dubbed over.
So, it is a Chinese YouTube channel. It focuses on educational content for children aged 2 to 5. And their main mascot is this really, honestly, very cute panda named Kiki.
Mm-hmm.
And so on BabyBus's website, they say their videos teach children to think independently, build self-confidence, respect others, and explore the world. And in addition to their videos, they also have some apps on Droid and on the Apple iPhone.
And this is it's all music based, right?
Yeah, it's all,
Everything that they're teaching, they have put in some sort of song form.
Yeah. I think it started in what I'm going to call the, children's YouTube channel Nursery Rhyme Wars.
Like we also know of Little Baby Bum.
Little Baby Bum.
We have maybe talked about Little Baby Bum before.
And Baby Bum is a British phenomenon that does a very similar thing. They just do it differently. They started off doing sort of 2D animations. They do a lot more really pretty good looking now 3D animation for their videos. And they talk about all sorts of topics. They talk about safety, learning letters and colors and numbers. And it's always animals sort of interacting with each other. It's always an animal world. And apparently this channel has been dubbed into several languages. Not just English, but also Japanese, Indonesian, Korean, Arabic, Spanish, Vietnamese, and Portuguese.
We were talking kind of recently, I'm kind of going a little bit off topic, but actually in topic, if that's... Just follow me.
I'm with you. Let's go. Let's do it.
You and I were talking recently because you had been in a virtual meeting where someone was speaking about the way music affects us in our lives, and you were talking about how it has there have been studies and evidence shown that it helps with mental issues. It helps with children that were born with learning disabilities. It helps with people that are having memory issues, Alzheimer's and dementia and such. And this is one of the things, I'm sure we have talked about this 1 million times. One of the things that you and I specifically really like is when we use music to teach.
Yes.
Because music, it sticks in you.
Yeah, it's catchy.
I mean, even if it's not catchy, if you can just put something to a tune, it's easier to remember. It's especially for, like, I love those studies of the mental, the memory patients, that a lot of them remember songs because songs just stay with us.
Yeah.
It's not taking up a ton of our brain power, but it's something that sticks with us. And so we really like it especially when Cora is being taught something through song, because I think it sticks with her more.
Well, so in this presentation that I watched, if you've never been here before, so Natalie and I were both education majors, and we're both in music, and I work for a music organization now that sort of focuses a lot of its effort on lifelong learning, and that sort of thing. And so in this presentation I was watching, they were talking about, and again, this is all stuff that's kind of been out there. But in this one particular one, the presenter was saying, I think it was for dementia patients, that the part of your brain that handles, like, no, was it that, or was it, I think it was a little boy with Downs. They were saying the part of the brain that deals with speech is handled in a different place than, like, memory or something, but music is processed over on the other side too. So, like, people who are having trouble with speech, and especially, like, so they were focusing on this young boy with Downs. They were saying, like, that bridges a gap because there's speech involved in singing, but it's stored, like, it activates the part of the speech center isn't activating, but the music part and the memory part activates, and it bridges over to the speech center, can get the speech center working.
Yeah. And that specifically, that little boy you were telling me would not just speak in his day-to-day life or had trouble forming words, but when his sister?
Yeah, his older sister
was singing him a song, he would say the words, some of the words to the song. But when he's just talking in day-to-day life, he's nonverbal. Right. So I love that. Yeah. I mean, that I kind of took us on a little bit of a
it's a really good point, because it's why these kinds of channels are so popular. And it talks a little bit about the thing that we say that we like a lot about some shows, which is that they're doing an entertaining and educational thing at the same time. I think that they lean, and their stuff says this too, they lean more on the education side than on the entertainment side, but they make it entertaining and playful, and it's for little kids. Yeah. But it's not, and again, so sorry for people who are, like, really pro Teletubbies, but, like, it's not Teletubbies where it's Goo Goo and Gaga. Right. It feels constructive.
And you have a specific one you wanted to talk about, right?
Well, before I do that, I do want to say, and and this isn't a gatekeeping thing. I've been really trying to pay attention to things where I'm like, you can't, people shouldn't or can't do a thing this way because it's not the way I like it. Which is like,
that's like there, isn't it?
It is, but it's like that's like a pandemic, another pandemic going on in our world right now is this gatekeeping culture of like, if you're not doing it the way I like it, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
But I do want to point out, this may affect a lot of adults, I think, especially adults who know some of these nursery rhyme songs. They'll just straight up make up new words to those for the thing that they're going to teach, and they don't care about rhyme.
Yeah.
Now that may not be true in the original, so it may be that may be that the poetry works in Chinese and doesn't work in English.
Right.
And I don't know that. So I'm saying this with some amount of ignorance.
Right.
But whoever does the dub and like writes the script for the American, I'm so sorry, for the English version, they don't care about rhyme at all. And so they just sing the words, and wherever the syllables fall, that's where they fall. Yeah. Which is kind of interesting because they do usually do the meter right. Like, they do the right number of syllables.
If you're weirded out by those songs not rhyming and stuff like that, it may be harder to listen to. Right.
Yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I think what it gives is more than how annoying that is. Does that make sense?
No, I'm just laughing because you said American.
I know. I'm really mad at myself.
I was trying not to make a big deal out of it, but it's stuck in my brain.
Okay, there was this video, and this is what triggered me wanting to talk about this week. There were two in a row, but it was the first one that really caught both of our attention.
Right. We had just kind of settled down, and Cora had been watching BabyBus, and we
were letting her like finish a show, like one video, and then we were going to take back over the TV.
Yeah, because we're the boss.
We'll watch whatever we want.
That's right.
But the video, it had just started, so like one more, and this video comes on, and it's about it's called Underpants, and in the video, a little boy and a little girl are wearing swim trunks. It's what they're actually.
They're at a swimming pool.
Yeah, and that's what they're
looks like a
shown
public swimming pool.
But the song is talking about what your underpants do for your body. So it's like your underpants cover your privates, and your underpants like protect you. And then it's like, and if someone's looking at your underpants or tries to touch them, you say no. And then the characters on the screen get really like
so there's this really creepy looking wolf guy. Is he a wolf?
I think so.
Because they're all animals. Yeah. The characters are all animals. That's kind of like maybe in the stall next to the little boy while he's using the restroom or something like that. That's like being a super creeper.
Yeah. Overtly a bad dude.
I mean, he's a pedophile.
Yeah.
But it comes on, and the guys, I mean, it's all happening. There is no dialogue. It's all happening while a song is going on, and the song is the dialogue.
Right.
So the song is kind of narrating what is happening. And this was about, somebody is looking too much at your underpants. Somebody is
trying to touch
asking to touch your underpants or something like that. You say no, and they were like, and you scream no, and you get an adult or something.
And then the video that followed that one was like a stranger danger, like don't let a stranger into your house kind of video or something. But while we were watching these, I think tell me if you felt this way, because I started to talk about it. I was like, no, this is what I'm going to talk about this week. So let's do it on the mic. I think that you reacted the same way I did. Was your first thought, we should stop this video?
Right. My first thought was like, she doesn't need to be watching this, because it was, if a stranger is trying to touch your underpants, or if a stranger knocks on your front, because in my brain,
the dude look pretty creepy.
I mean, he looks creepy. He's also when he's trying to get the little girl, like he has a piece of candy, and like follow me. And they're like, if somebody's, trying to touch your underpants, you say no. And then they get a police officer or someone in a uniform to help them. And absolutely, you're completely right. At first, I was like, she doesn't need to be watching this. But then, I feel like both of us at the same time went,
no, you know what?
You know what? Okay.
Yes. It's exactly right.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I'd like to think that I am fully aware of the situations around me, and that I am fully aware of the situations around my child. But also, she's starting kindergarten.
Yeah.
She's fixing to start kindergarten.
She's going to start spending most of her awake hours not here.
Yeah, and and so...
Or not most, I guess, in kindergarten, but...
Yeah. And so going through those things, this stranger danger thing, at first I wanted to say like, oh, she doesn't need to be worried about that. And I'm like, oh, no. You learn all you need to about, you don't let anyone touch you.
Yeah. Because we've talked about that, like occasionally if something comes up and we're like, and by the way, if someone ever tries to pick you up and you don't know who they are. Right. Or anything.
You don't have to give anyone hugs. Yeah. You don't have to give anyone goodbye kisses. She does that with like our parents. But we have never ever forced her to, even to our parents, say like, no, you need to hug them before there's like,
if you don't feel like hugging someone, you shouldn't hug them.
There was one time she didn't want to sit on Santa's lap, and I was like, listen, girl, I don't either.
Yeah.
I'm not forcing you to sit on that strange man's lap. Anyway, I feel like I'm on a soapbox.
But that's what this is about. So, it's just interesting because I think we've seen a broad spectrum of BabyBus.
Yes.
And one side of it is these obnoxious videos that are just nursery rhymes reformed to like tell them it's that everybody poops and all that kind of stuff.
Make sure you share. What color is this?
Yeah. And this was much more mature and for like the older kids about to go to school. Yeah. Or who might be spending some time outside the house, not around their parents. Right. So I guess now, like, I wasn't sure even when I started, like, what my thesis was going to be for this. And here's what it is. This channel is pretty obnoxious. Yes. It's pretty good, though. I think it's got some really good...
As far as the learning, as far as the content.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I always appreciate... It's the same thing as, like, what we talked about when we talked about Blippi way back when. It's like taking a moment to say, if you ever find yourself in an ambulance... You're going to be scared, and that's normal. And just remember that all those people in there are helping you. Yeah. Like, little things like that, I feel like are going to, it's probably not going to help a ton of children. Right. But it's probably going to help a few children. Right. And in some of the most terrible situations they can be in. So, like, having more people saying that kind of things to kids. Yeah. I just think that's really good.
Yeah, it's important.
A couple more things about the channel, and then I'm going to wrap my section up. One is, and this is just minor, so there's not a Wikipedia page about this. I mentioned that. There's a fandom page that someone started, which is usually where you go to find, like, information about a video game or a comic book series, but there's a fandom page for BabyBus. Apparently their channel got hacked in 2020. And
somebody was bored.
Yeah, I guess so. It looks like it was actually a Bitcoin mining company. Like, they just, for whatever, I don't know what they needed a YouTube channel for, and especially like a little kids YouTube channel. But they got hacked, and that's all behind them. Worse though, apparently, they got they did get in some trouble in 2014 with the Federal Trade Commission. Apparently, the apps that they have out there had like really precise geolocation in them, which like you don't need that for kids apps. Sure. or apparently any apps. Right. Because but they're like, yeah, you can't do that. This breaks rules. The apps are designed for children under 13.
you don't need to know where those kids are. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but they cleaned up their act, and that's not a problem anymore. But so if you've heard like, no, BabyBus is like spying on your kids, that's not a thing anymore. The FTC got on them, and Google and Apple got on them, and they were actually suspended for a while and had to go through their review process again to get put back in the app stores.
Gotcha.
That's BabyBus.
Obnoxious, but the content's there.
Yeah. It's slimy yet satisfying.
There you go. What? Ew.
That's a good one.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. That's all I got. Let's pull over for a brief break in Promoville.
Okie doke.
And we're back.
Hey.
What a sweet, sweet break. We actually did take a break so that we could make sure our audio was good.
Yeah.
We're being really paranoid.
I think we have a little bit of a paranoia going on that when we're done with all of our amazing, amazing content, that it's going to be ruined again.
I mean, that's how I feel. That's what I'm worried about.
So, you know me. Sometimes I like to not just do a TV show.
Lately, a lot, and I think that's good.
But I am going to talk about kids and family television today.
Okay.
But I'm going to talk specifically about the controversies. The controversies around particular ones.
Great.
Okay. So I went through several different... I did some research, went through several different lists that are out there, and kind of found some that I figured would be interesting to talk about. Hey, what's up, baby?
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh, that's okay.
I'll give you some more chips.
Go grab your chips from your Easter basket. They're in the kitchen on the counter.
Let me borrow your bike. Come on, I'll give you some of my chips. What a dumb movie. I love it.
Give me some of your tots.
Give me some of your tots. Come on.
Are you talking about BabyBus?
We were talking about BabyBus.
Take Daddy's phone.
I just know it because I saw the sign.
Yep.
And it opened up your eyes.
You good? Good girl. Our child is constantly snacking. I have talked about this one.
Okay.
But I'm just going to go over it again really quickly. And each of these is just a quick little thing. When I was talking about Teletubbies, I had mentioned the Reverend Jerry Falwell, who believed that Tinky Winky, who is the purple Teletubby, he's a purple Teletubby. He carries a red bag that looks very similar to what a female might carry, like a purse.
Or anyone who might want to carry a purse.
Sure.
Looks like a purse.
And has a triangle on the top of his head. This guy says that because of those three things, his color, his choice of bag, and his triangle antenna, is that they were promoting a homosexual agenda on Teletubbies. And the BBC just said, as far as we are concerned, Tinky Winky is simply a sweet, technological baby with a magic bag. So that was one that I had talked about before.
I really love that phrase. What was it? Sweet technological baby?
Simply a sweet, technological baby with a magic bag.
I feel like Sweet Technological Baby is the name of a band. And also, I just want to say that I like to wear purple. There's nothing wrong with anyone wearing purple.
Yeah. Yeah.
And purses are super useful.
They are.
I don't carry one, but I just don't want one. That's all.
Yeah.
Get off Tinky Winky's case.
Get off Tinky Winky. Okay.
He's just a sweet technological baby.
In 1999, Bob the Builder had a Christmas special. He lost his tools and he was kind of wrestling with a sheet of wallpaper and he couldn't get to his tools. And parents swore up and down that he said the F-bomb.
Of course.
Even the guy, the actor that plays Bob the Builder, his name is Neil Morrissey, said that he was like, I'm completely clean when I'm Bob the Builder.
Yeah, I feel like
this show's for kids.
You're in the booth, you don't accidentally let an F-bomb slip. It's not like he actually was like, all right, now to make this real, I'm going to be trying to pick up a box of tools and mess it up.
But people said parents were like, oh, we heard it. We absolutely heard it. Just to be safe, they took all of those VHSs because they were on, I mean, it was 1999. Mm-hmm. They were on VHS and they withdrew. They took it away.
They took them off the shelves.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just to be on the safe side. Then a statement was issued that said, we received a small number of complaints just after its release in 1999. To avoid any further confusion, the decision was made to remaster the tape. He was definitely not swearing. His words were muffled because he was stuck to a piece of wallpaper at the time. So that's that.
Leave Bob alone.
He was stuck to wallpaper.
If you were stuck to wallpaper, it might sound like you said a swear word.
Okay. I don't have the year here. But Katy Perry came on Sesame Street. Mm-hmm. And Katy Perry wore what Katy Perry wears. I'm showing you a picture.
Yeah, usually a low-cut thing.
It's very low-cut. It's sweetheart neckline, but it is not on her neck. It is much lower than her neck. Parents didn't care for it.
Yeah.
They said there's a little bit too much being revealed here. And the producers pulled the segment from Sesame Street, saying, in light of the feedback we've received on the Katy Perry music video, which was released on YouTube only, we have decided we will not air the segment on the television broadcast of Sesame Street, which is aimed at preschoolers.
Yeah.
So a little bit more thought probably needs to be put into what the actors and actresses are wearing on a preschool television program, but I mean, it's what Katy Perry wears. So, I mean, either they need to not have her on or make,
Yeah.
I mean, they need to make better decisions. Either don't have someone on that has this tendency towards more of a revealing costume, or speak with that person and see if you can come up with a solution.
Yeah.
That's just kind of my thoughts. I also am not in the television business, so what do I know?
You do, dear Sesame Street, I think I've got the answer. Listen, just do a little bit better job of thinking ahead. That's all you need.
As we know, because we've also kind of talked about my boy, SpongeBob SquarePants, a lot of people don't like him.
Yeah.
He was, in 2005, he was in a video alongside other cartoon characters promoting tolerance. A conservative group interpreted it as pro-homosexual and that it was brainwashing kids. The Ukrainian National Expert Commission for Protecting Public Morality, now that's...
Wow.
That's a lot. Came to a similar conclusion in 2012, saying that Patrick Star was a real threat to children.
What, you guys?
They, and what I love, is they have been accused on separate occasions of furthering both liberal and conservative agendas.
Well, make up your mind, groups.
And in 2009, the Campaign for a Commercial-Free Childhood got riled up about a Burger King ad that remixed Baby Got Back to Square Butts in honor of SpongeBob.
That's funny.
And it said it objectified women.
So I wanna talk real briefly.
I figured you would.
About the first one. I think the square butts thing is funny.
Mm-hmm.
On the first one, here's the thing
about tolerance.
The group wanting to shut them down, and all that. Here's the thing: we make a podcast where I don't think we've ever said this, but our general feeling is there is no judgment about letting your kid have screen time.
Oh, are you kidding me?
We are
screen
not.
Time. We live by screen time.
We don't feel. We don't have any sort of problem with people who want to limit screen time.
Nope.
Totally understand that.
Yep.
For us,
it does seem harder though.
Yeah.
But that's up to you.
For us, what we're trying to do is pay attention to what our kid watches.
Yeah.
And as long as it's something that we have seen and we have screened and we know it ourselves, we're going to be okay with her having some screen time.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a message that that groups on either side that are going to say this show is promoting an agenda that I don't agree with.
Mm-hmm.
Even if that's true.
Uh-huh.
And it might, and in a way it is, because like what it is if we're promoting tolerance, we're saying, hey, people who don't like certain things, these people over here are okay.
Yeah.
And you have to assume that they're okay, and like you can't treat them without meeting them. You can't treat them like they're not okay. And that's a message everyone needs. Mm-hmm. But if that's your feeling, the answer is not going to be kick this show off the air, or it shouldn't. I don't think it should be. Like if it's one thing if a show is doing something blatantly evil,
Sure.
you know?
Yeah.
Like if it's promoting like harm or something.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about something like tolerance, it's like if you disagree with that, then what you need to do is have a talk with your kid.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Something can only be brainwashing if it's like if there's a total and complete control over the thing. And so if you're worried about your kid being brainwashed by a show and your answer is like shut it down or cancel it, instead of just like we're not going to watch that show anymore, or you can still watch that show, but let's talk about what our values are.
Yeah.
Like, come on, people.
It's quite an intolerant way to go about a video that's about tolerance.
Yeah. I just don't understand, like, just pay attention to what your kids are watching, which I guess these people were, but like pay attention to it and then have a conversation.
Yeah. I also really want to say real quick, we're not going to get into politics.
Never.
We don't do that. I want to say a very, very, very baseline thing.
Okay.
And that is that most of the time when people are mad at a TV show, a lot of times it is a conservative group.
Yeah. Which, by its nature, it's going to...
By its nature, that's true. I just want people to know that you and I consider ourselves to be a conservative.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle on the conservative side.
Yes. I want people to know not all of us conservatives are like this.
Yeah, yes, that's a good point.
Yes, please understand that when I am reading this and I say a conservative group, I am coming at that from a conservative standpoint.
Yeah.
I want everyone to know that when you say conservative, it's not an all-encompassing thing.
Right.
We do not, of course, I have not seen this episode that they are talking about, but we most likely would not see an episode about tolerance.
It's hard for me to imagine watching an episode of SpongeBob about tolerance and going like, nope, SpongeBob is out of our life.
Right. Not all conservatives are created equal.
And by the way, I hope that, I almost hope that that's surprising to people. Like, I hope that we give off that we are a very tolerant
Absolutely. I mean, conservatives can be tolerant, and I just want people to know that.
Yeah.
and it really sucks to me that a lot of these conservative branded things are the ones that we're having to say are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people are like heads of religious what am I trying to say? Because we are also religious people as well. So again, that doesn't mean we're going to watch an episode about tolerance and go like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, no. We're probably going to agree with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hey, everybody.
Hey, we're here.
Hey.
We love you all.
We love you all, and we're conservatives.
Yeah.
So, hey, what do you know? There's those people out there. Let's stop that now. Okay. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that's important for people to know. It's hard to...
Yeah. I mean, but also we don't talk about politics here.
Yeah, that's also not our platform at all.
Right.
Our platform is all about...
I just wanted people to know that there's us out here too.
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Yes.
They got in trouble in 1997.
Hard to imagine why.
The episode specifically is called Electric Soldier Porygon.
Yeah.
There were a lot of red and blue flashes during an explosion scene that caused hundreds of children in Japan to be hospitalized after they suffered seizures.
Yeah.
It was pulled from rotation. There are several ones that have either been pulled temporarily or permanently. Tower of Terror was aired in 1998, and it was pulled from the air. And this says... it was pulled from the air until 2002 because of what happened on 9/11. Because it was called the Tower of Terror. There was a dubbed version of Beauty and the Beach, and it was heavily edited because of its adult content. There was an episode where Ash was held at gunpoint that was taken away. There was a negative stereotype of African Americans.
Really?
Yes. It was called Holiday Hijinks, JYNX.
Okay.
It has not been re-aired since 2000 because of Jinx's depiction of a negative stereotype.
Oh, I've never even thought about... Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what you're talking about? They're talking about?
I mean, yes. Now, I've never... Oh, man. The glass on Jinx just got broken for me.
Oh.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And there was also an episode where Ash darkens his face that they also pulled for that same reason.
For the same reason.
So, yeah.
You don't know anything about Jinx, do you?
Is Jinx not the one that's in the trio of the Jesse and James?
No.
Oh, okay.
Here, look real quick. Come look at Jinx.
Okay.
So.
Oh, okay. I can already see it.
Yep.
Wow.
And I don't think that that's what they're going for. I hope not.
Goodness.
But now that I know what you're talking about, I totally see it.
Okay. Well, maybe there was...
also... There's some lewd pictures there. I'm going to get rid of that.
Uh-oh. Don't Google it.
I literally just Googled Jinx Pokemon and lewd images came up.
Okay.
Come on, Google.
Did you watch Steven Universe?
I watched a little bit of Steven Universe.
Okay.
I think I actually need to fix this real quick. I think that I watched some Steven Universe and talked about it on our show, and a few weeks later was like, yeah, I've never seen or heard of Steven Universe before.
You would. Okay.
Just because I didn't spend enough time with it. I have seen Steven Universe.
Okay. It does have a lot of inclusion as far as homosexual relationships in it. There was, in 2016, the UK branch of Cartoon Network removed a scene where two female characters were sharing an intimate moment.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of fans thought that was kind of that there was hypocrisy in that because there were other intimate scenes, but for some reason this one I don't know.
You should be consistent.
Yeah, you should be consistent. Do it or don't do it. Just whichever. They stood by their decision, though, and their quote was, "The U.S. broadcast system requires that shows are marked with a rating, in this case PG, or parental guidance necessary. So in the UK, which is where it was taken away, we have to ensure everything on air is suitable for kids of any age at any time."
So they were saying because it's an American show and it's been marked with a PG rating, we can't air it because of our rules about the U.S. rating system. I
guess the UK's rating system is just much different than ours or whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
Just there was a difference there.
Interesting.
Really quickly, Kid Nation was a reality TV show where it was just a bunch of kids that you followed, and they were set up their own adult-free community.
So it was Lord of the Flies.
I don't know that.
What?
I don't know that.
You haven't read Lord of the Flies?
No, I don't know that.
Oh my goodness.
The waivers that the parents had to sign, it was leaked that it said that they could get some minor to serious bodily injury, illness or death, emotional distress, illness, sexually transmitted disease, HIV, or pregnancy, and that most of these kids were around 8 years old.
So what they did was they took the waiver from the real world,
yep,
and just went, this is probably good for the kids.
Yeah. They also, the contestants were in groups labeled as upper class, merchant class, cooks, and laborers.
Oh boy! Yeah. Oh boy!
That show was canceled.
Yeah. You know what's amazing though? There were kids on that show.
There were children. Yes. Actual children.
So what happened is that some parents read, your kid might get an STD. And they're like, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I've talked about this one before. Australian viewers disapproved of Peppa Pig claiming spiders can't hurt you because in Australia they absolutely can.
Well, sure.
Peppa Pig was just talking about a spider, like, don't worry about spiders. They're fine. They're, because a lot of spiders, most spiders
can't seriously hurt you.
But
not unless you're in Australia.
In Australia, they said, no, our spiders will hurt you. Am I running?
You're doing great.
Okay. I don't want to dabble.
No.
Not dabble. What am I saying? Dawdle.
You don't want to dilly-dally.
Dilly-dally dawdle. I'm going to skip over that one because I don't know much about that one anyway. Did you watch Gargoyles?
Yeah.
Okay. Gargoyles was one of the darker of the Disney animated television shows. I don't know Gargoyles.
I think I think it must have been a spinoff of, like, sort of a spinoff from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, because that has gargoyles, but
it doesn't look like it's set in the same time.
That's the thing. I think what happened is Hunchback of Notre. I don't know any facts about this show. I watched
this is Rich's opinion.
I'm gonna guess now. I'm gonna guess that Hunchback of Notre Dame came out. There was a gargoyle character in that movie. Yeah. And I'm gonna guess that they were like, "Hey, what if there's a whole show of that?" Yeah. And they did that because that's
probably not at all what happened. But
next week, look for it. Gargoyles.
One of those episodes was temporarily shelved. It was taken off of the air temporarily because I don't know any of these characters, but you may know them. Broadway gets a hold of Elisa's police-issued firearm, and after watching a gunslinging Western, he accidentally shoots Elisa while play-acting, and the scene ends with him staring in horror at her limp body surrounded by blood.
Goodness.
So, gun safety was like, whoa, the U.S. was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It has since returned to the air with the first re-edit removing the pool of blood, and the second version using a close-up of Elisa's face instead and cropping out her body.
Okay.
So there's that. I don't know anything about that, but I figured you might know Gargoyles. Are you researching Gargoyles right now?
Of course I am.
Okay. Are you listening to me, though?
Yeah.
Oh, computer noises in my ear.
I'm sorry. Go on.
There was a banned episode of Tiny Toon Adventures, and this is the
Tiny Toons?
the baby Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
This is the only episode that has ever been banned. It's a segment titled One Beer. And it was created as a PSA for drunk driving. But in it, Buster convinces Hampton and Plucky to try some beer. Then it led to drunken shenanigans, and they were driving on the road, and they were swerving, and
I feel like I saw this episode.
They weren't reading the signs, and they ignored signs saying the road was out and that danger was ahead, and then they plunged to their deaths.
And that was the end of Tiny Toons. That was the last episode. Because
of that, the episode was not shown again until, what did I say?
I don't think you said a day.
Oh, well, shoot.
Or date.
It aired in 1991.
Okay.
And it wasn't shown again until 2013. 22 years later.
Tiny Toons goes back to 1991?
Yeah.
Wow.
There was a lot. I'm just going to say there was a lot of stereotypical / racist things that happened in Looney Tunes back in the day.
Sure.
In the original Looney Tunes. Especially when it comes to Bugs Bunny and Japanese soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to go into much of that, but it was the 40s. And it was
there was some propaganda happening.
It was not awesome.
By the way, did you watch the trailer for the new Space Jam yet?
No.
We gotta watch that. We gotta watch that trailer together.
Okay.
I watched it at your house, at your parents' house. I was like, "Hey, the trailer's out," and y'all were like, "Oh, cool!" And I was like, "I'm gonna watch it."
One last thing. Guess who is pretty consistently censored in China? It's not who you think.
It's not Mickey Mouse?
No.
Okay, who is it?
It's Winnie the Pooh. You want to know why?
Does "oh bother" mean something in Japanese that's terrible?
No.
Oh. I was really hoping that was it.
No, but that would be great. Winnie the Pooh has had a lot of censorship in China.
Oh.
In 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because he doesn't wear pants?
No, because a lot of the citizens think that Winnie the Pooh resembled their president.
Oh, boy. Oh.
There were a lot of memes that compared the images of Winnie the Pooh and their president. His name is here. I don't want to say it because I don't want to butcher it.
That's fair.
And it did not go over well with the leaders of that country. So they cracked down on sharing those images. Also, in 2018, the film Christopher Robin was not included on the sanction list of 34 international films that are allowed to be released in the country per year. Again, because people were saying that their president looked a lot like Winnie the Pooh and were making fun of him because of that. That's all I have.
I'm going to say this about Gargoyles. It doesn't... I'm looking at images now from Gargoyles, and this isn't what I was thinking of. I'm thinking of something else.
So you don't know Gargoyles.
I remember this show being out, and I probably saw a few episodes of it, but this is not what I was thinking of. There's something else that's similar to the Gargoyles from Hunchback.
I gotcha.
That happened in the 90s, and maybe it was just a movie, or maybe it's just Hunchback of Notre Dame.
You could just be thinking about the Gargoyles.
I could just be remembering that movie. I do remember this show, though, now that I see some of the images, but I doubt very much that this was based on Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I had to say about it. I just wanted to correct myself before
I'm done.
Our millions of fans got on to me. All of them super knowledgeable about Gargoyles.
Yes.
Got on to me for that.
That's all I had.
That's all super interesting. Man, poor Winnie the Pooh. Wow. Well.
Oh, bother.
We do that.
We do the think.
We do the think. We curl our fingers under and just use our knuckles and tap our forehead when we're like, oh, let me think about it. Think. Thank you for listening to this episode of Not Suitable for Adults. You know what? Really, if you listen to the last one, thank you for listening to that one too, because of how garbled it was.
With us.
Yeah, thanks for not giving up after that one. I was really feeling like this was going to be a good series I could listen to. I was 59 episodes in, but then episode 60 just sounded really bad.
Yeah.
So, we're sorry again for that. This one should sound good.
Hopefully.
We took a break and we listened to it, and yeah, it sounds fine.
Big fingers crossed.
Big old fingers crossed. We do want to invite you to leave a review or some sort of a rating for the show on wherever you can do that. We love that. I go and I look at those whenever they happen. I get a little notification and it just makes my little day.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends about us. I think people have been doing that lately, by the way. We definitely have been getting more people listening to the show in the last month or so.
That's a lot of fun.
So thank you for that. Let's keep that going. Just keep that train rolling.
Yep.
We want to thank Shad Warrell for creating our music for us, our intro, outro, and break music, because he's really cool and great, and he worked with us and asked us what we wanted, and he made it for us.
Yep.
And you can hear more of his work at soundcloud.com/Shad-Warrell. And it's really neat. He does a good job.
And that's Shad with an SH.
Shad. Yeah.
Yes. I just don't want people to search
it's
for
not
Chad. Chad.
Yeah. That's fair. I always try to leave a link to his stuff in our show notes. So
Gotcha.
If you're ever confused, go take a look, and I try and leave something for him there. So yeah, thank you for that. Just,
here we go.
As always.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and you know what? I always do a lot of much ado. And I'm not going to do any more ado on this one.
You're not doing any ado.
Stop thinking you're not the boss, because you are. Never forget that you are the boss.
Wow, that was very forceful. So, if you want to, watch whatever you want.
All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye.